What's up, guys? Welcome back to another comms check with me, Chad. Hey, I'm going to be bringing something to you guys today, something that has been on my mind for quite a while. And it is, we're going to talk about this whole concept, this whole belief, this whole fallacy of you do your thing and I'll do mine. In other words, if what you're doing doesn't affect me, then you just do whatever you want to do. And I'm going to do what I want to do over here. All right? Yeah. You guys hear this all the time. So we're going to talk through that. All right. First, have you got you some Wake Up Waffles yet? This is one of our newer sponsors for the 3 of 7 podcast. Let me tell you how I got to know about Wake Up Waffles. Was on the Mid-State Mile. I ran for 30 hours straight. I ended up winning that race, and these Wake Up Waffles is what I ate pretty much primarily for 30-something hours. My man, Jesse, had a bunch of them in his RV, and him and Mark kept bringing these waffles out to me, man. And I was eating them, and they fueled me, and they weren't hard on my stomach, and they tasted really good, so I actually wanted to eat them. And I've been sold on them ever since. So you get what you pay for. These things are high quality. They're made fresh, delivered to you, and they're off the chain. They're the world's only plant-based, gluten-free, dairy-free, nut-free, soy-free waffles. Like I say, man, they taste awesome. They're easy on your stomach. They're just an amazing product. Go get you some Wake Up Waffles. Give them a shot. Their website is wakeupfoods.com. 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 Yeah, they're on point. Check them out. Thanks for sponsoring the 3 of 7 podcast, Wake Up Waffles. I love you guys. All right, here we go. You do your thing, I'll do mine. Man, that's old country music. That's old country music line out of a country music song. You do your thing, I'll do mine. You know, man, doesn't that sound great? Everybody just do what they want to do as long as we don't bother each other. And the world's going to be just a easy, cool place to live in, and everybody's going to be happy. Man, it sounds like it would work. The problem is there's a problem with it. Now, why am I even talking about this? Because I hear this all the time, especially from major influencers or brands or businesses. This is what they want to stand on, basically, and it's especially influencers, brands, and businesses that have, somewhat, and this is aside from politics, but to categorize it in some way, shape, or form, more conservative viewpoints. You hear them say, hey, here's the way I believe this, and that. But you know what? You guys, you do your thing. If it doesn't affect me, then you do whatever you need to do. I'm cool with that. All right, man, that sounds great, but here's the freaking problem. The reality that we all are living in here, there's a problem here, because for every action in reality, there's an equal and opposite reaction, right? So if we say, hey, bro, do what you do, as long as you're not bothering me, well, guess what? Let's create a scenario here. Now, you could theorize on however many different scenarios you want. Now, of course, you guys know me. You guys know the values, the morals, and all that stuff that I live by, right? So I've got that standard. So now let's say that I tell somebody else that I say, hey, man, you know what? My set of standards that I live my life by tells me to be sober. But you know what? If you want to smoke dope, you go right ahead, right? You guys just go ahead, smoke all the dope you want as long as you don't come to my house and do it. Well, now, I could make a very strong case that in a way, when that happens, again, every action has an equal and opposite reaction. When that happens, it actually is going to affect me in some way, shape, or form, even if I don't see it, even if I'm not anywhere around it, even if I don't even know what's going on, right? So, if we want to say, you guys do what you do, smoke dope, get drunk, do what you want to do, right? How I'm saying that affects me in some way, sure. How in the crap does that affect me? That's somebody else's decision. All right, well, the problem is that we live in a society. We live in communities, right? And each member of society or each member of your community should contribute to that society or to that community equally. Each person should make their contribution equally. All right, now, so I've told these cats over here, you do what you do. So they're over there every evening smoking dope, getting high, getting drunk. We're just using this as an example, just as one example. Now, do you think that those choices that they're making, so I'm sitting here at 7:30 at night. I've been working on I've been putting up fencing all day. It's cold and nasty. I'm tired. It's 7:30 at night, and I'm recording a podcast. I'm hopefully providing some value. I'm doing something productive. Now, them cats that are doing their thing, do you think that they're doing anything while they're drunk or high to contribute to society or the community that we live in? Negative. They're out of the game, right? Like I say, this is just one example. So how does that roundabout affect me? If everyone in my community, if everyone in this nation or this society doesn't contribute equally because they've chosen a different set of morals or standards or values than I have, which decreases their productivity within the society that I have to live in, that is ultimately affecting me. Now, it can go way deeper than that, even just on that, with that single example. Now, you say, take for instance the dude that killed my cousin. Now, he made a choice to get drunk and high, and he slammed in the back of my cousin's truck and murdered him. Now, that has affected an entire family. Now, hey, man, you do your thing, I'll do mine. It don't freaking work, right? You guys starting to understand how how that belief is a fallacy? How it affects society, how it affects communities in a roundabout way, how it affects you. All right? So that's just one thing, right? A society or a group of people or a nation or a community, we have to agree on a certain set of moral principles or standards. We have to. When our nation was founded, I'm an American. When America was founded, the founders of this nation, along with the majority of the population, agreed on a certain standard of moral principles. All right? And the best one that they could find came from the Bible. So they founded an entire country. They all agreed upon these moral standards and principles that were derived from the Bible, and it worked. It worked for a good long time because it's essential that a society make that agreement. That's the only way that it can function. It worked for a good long while, right? All right. So, I think that we can hopefully agree on that. Now, You want to talk about civil liberties, being free? Yeah, man. If you want to go and cut your grass on Monday morning at 8 o'clock, that's cool. I mean, like, I agree. We should all have civil liberties. We're talking about the problems that we're facing now as a society, the actions, the choices, and the decisions and the lifestyles that we see creeping in to, not creeping in, full-fledged in our society, and no one will say anything about it. No one will say that it's wrong, right? Because it's so much easier to say, you know what, that's not affecting me. Well, is it not affecting you? Think about the fruits of whatever that thing is, all right? Is it really not affecting you? Is it really not affecting the next generation? We talk about society has to agree on a certain set of moral principles and standards in order to govern the society, in order to all live and be productive and live in harmony, I guess. Now, look, if you believe like I believe, some of you from young kids, you were fortunate enough to have adults to tell you why our moral principles and standards are good. You are fortunate enough to have an adult to tell you what is right and what is wrong. And you didn't have to go through it and figure it out the hard way. All right. We all had to learn things on our own at some point or another in life. But you take the big topics and people told you, hey, this is all right, that's a blessing, man. Look, how you going to raise your kid? How you going to raise up the next generation with the message of, hey, you know what? Everything's okay. Everything's all good as long as we're not hurting one another. How you going? They have no foundation at that point. How can they ever step up and lead in society or within the community when it's their turn, when they become adults? They have zero foundation. Look, the Bible tells us how we can make everything work really well. It says, love God, love your neighbor as you love yourself. So do unto others as you would have done to you, right? All right, here's the caveat to that. Now that sounds like love your neighbor as you would love yourself. Now that sounds in a way what we're talking about here. You do your thing, I'll do mine. I'm going to love you. You can love me. We're all good, right? You've missed the first part. The first part of that says love God. Now, what does it mean to love God? To love God means that you want to please God. If you love God, you will want to please Him. Right? Now, part of wanting to please God and loving God is loving His Word, loving the moral principles and standards that He's laid out for us in the Bible, and trying your best to adhere to those things. So love God comes first, which tells me, all right, that has established, if you say you love God, that has established your right and left flanks, your boundaries when it comes to moral principles and standards. What you think is right, what you think is okay, and what you think is wrong. All right? So it has to start off like that. That's why that verse starts off with that. Love God. Then you can love your neighbor and yourself, but only after you love God. You guys see how this works here? It has to start with that. Now, what does that tell us? That tells us that the answer is not, the answer is not do unto others as you would have done unto you. The answer is not love your neighbor as you would love yourself. The answer is first, and it can only work if you love God first and you strive to please Him and adhere to what He has told us about living a happy, healthy, fruitful, bountiful, wholesome, pure life. Now, once you do that, then everything else falls into place in terms of loving yourself and loving your neighbor. If we could all do that, it would be perfect. But without the first one, it will not work. Now, why is this such a popular belief now? Or why is this such a popular stance of, other influencers, other brands, other businesses, this whole, hey, man, you do what you do as long as you're not affecting me. I'm cool with that. Why is that so popular? All right. It's a daggone protection method that people are using, right? Influencers, brands, businesses. Anybody that has an image, that has money, anybody that has a product, anybody that has something to guard and protect, they're cool with coming out, or some of them are cool with coming out and telling you what they believe. They're cool with that. Now, that's a good step in the right direction. I'm glad some people are courageous enough still to at least come out and tell you what they believe in. But guess what they're not courageous enough to do? To tell you what they don't believe in. All right? They're not courageous enough to tell you what they think is actually wrong, what they will not stand for, and what they will not agree with when it comes to moral values and principles. What are we talking about? Conscience stuff, right? Things, moral things, right? Lifestyles, actions, decisions, choices, all right? Because they're standing behind this cloak of security, because they say, you know what, I can come out and say what I believe in, and that's cool, and I might get attacked here and there, but as soon as you come out and say, but I don't believe in this thing, but I don't agree with this thing, and this thing is absolutely wrong, and it's wrong in a sense that it's detrimental to the human race, it's detrimental to society, it's detrimental to my community, it's detrimental to productivity, right? It's affecting me in third and fourth order ways, and it's wrong. Now, as soon as an influencer, a brand, or a business comes out and says that, so they not only tell you what they believe, but they start to plant a flag in the ground between right and wrong and stand up for the thing that is right. Now, as soon as that happens, boy, you are in for some real attack, right? You are going to get, you could potentially, your business, product, your brand, whatever, could completely get shut down, right? So it's a security thing, man. It's a security thing, but it's an issue. What are you willing to lose to stand up for what is right? Now, by standing up for what is right, I don't mean going out and putting other people down. I don't mean going out and protesting. I don't mean acting crazy. I mean when people ask you, and when you have the opportunity to share, you take that opportunity to share the difference between right and wrong with whoever has asked you, or whatever chance you have to voice that truth. You're voicing truth. You're not even voicing your opinion. Hopefully you're founded on the truth of the Bible. What are you willing to give up for that? There's something that we all must ask. And let me tell you, the more you have, the more followers you have, the more money you have, the more influence you have, the more you have to lose, the less you are going to be willing to plant a flag in the ground between right and wrong. This is Tough. Tough for a lot of people. But there's no other way. There's no other way. So if we're going to stand here and just protect the material things that we have and never plant our flags in the ground, tell our future generations, tell our children, tell others that might be lost the truth. Don't just tell them what you believe in, but tell them the truth. All right? The whole truth. All right? Yeah. The more we have, the harder it is to do that. Anyways, just had to put that out there. That's today's comms check. Why the whole, I've seen this, man. Why is this even on my heart? Because I get to travel around. I get to meet a lot of people that are in these positions of influence and branding and products. And I'm not naming any names. But I'm talking about some of these people that are extreme, have extremely conservative Christian views. This is the message they're putting out: is you do your thing and I'll do mine. And it's because all they want to do is protect what they have, because they're afraid of what's going to happen if they actually stand up for something. And that's what's gotten us into the shape that we're in now. That's what's gotten us into the place that we're in now, is that mindset. Well, luckily, I don't have a lot of money. Luckily, I don't have a lot of things. I've got a little bit of influence, and I hope it continues to grow, because we're going to continue to stand on what is right, and we're going to continue to put out the good word of truth and freedom and happiness, and we're going to continue to do that no matter what, no matter the increase, because that's what we do. That's what we've done since the beginning of this mission. Now, I encourage you to do the same. I encourage you to not be fearful of attack. I encourage you that if you see a lifestyle, a choice, a decision, an action that's detrimental to society, humanity, the future generations, something causing confusion, death, sickness, whatever it is, you see the fruits of it, you see the bad fruits of it. I encourage you, when people ask you, with boldness, to declare the truth. And not to just say, well, you know what, this is what I believe, but you know what, you do whatever. I'm cool with that. Because guess what, that won't get us anywhere in terms of a step in the right direction. Now, obviously, this podcast only applies for people that know the truth, that are founded upon the same moral principles and standards that this country was founded upon. All right? There we go. That's what I got for you today. That's what was on my heart. So thanks for tuning in to this comms check. Love you guys. Thanks for all the reviews on iTunes. Man, that means a lot. It helps the podcast grow. You guys have to grow this podcast, right? Because we are putting out truth, because we are putting out this type of content. I've made the turn, right? I'm full-fledged for Jesus. I'm serving him. I'm putting out to you guys exactly what's on my mind. Guess what happens? That affects the algorithms of all this stuff, all this Instagram. You think it doesn't. I've seen it happen. You guys have to help me put this word out. What does that mean? It means leaving us something as simple as leaving a review on iTunes can help grow the show. Now, what else does it mean? It means sharing this with a friend, posting it on your story on Instagram. Help me get the word out. And I'm going to keep bringing you the truth in my thoughts and hopefully helping you guys in your own missions, in your own communities, in your own societies, with your own journey to master, nourish, and maintain your body, soul, and spirit. But I need your help. So can you help me? Can you share this with one person? Can you leave us a review? Can you tag us on Instagram? If you can, I appreciate it greatly. All our supporters on Patreon, love you guys. Thank you so much. Resurrected was off the chain last night. Can't wait to see you guys this Sunday on Resurrected, where we really dig into some hard-hitting topics, subjects, and stories. All right, that's the comms check for today. Nuff said.